So we have been discussing the various methods of water treatment that includes primary, secondary and tertiary, and we discussed so many methods that have been employed in different levels of water treatment. And after following all the techniques, we have the purified sewage water. The purified sewage water can be used for various purposes. For example, it can be used as a drinking water for domestic animals and human beings, and it is also used in aquaculture, especially for rearing fish, aquatic fishes and some algae and so on. So you can make a artificial pond and you can introduce edible fishes, and you can use this sewage water for the rearing of aquatic fishes, and also you can use these waste water for as a coolant for the industrial machines. There are a lot of companies or industries which use large or huge equipments which generates heats while it's functioning. So the heats are dissipated by circulating the coolants or by water around the equipment. So in the same way, instead of using the fresh water that's taken from the bore water, we can use this sewage water, or the treated sewage water can be used as a coolant for the industrial machines. And it also forms a good source of water for irrigation, particularly for forest crops, fodder crops, orchards, vineyards, fiber crops, seed crops, and agricultural crops. And there are a lot of advantages over the fresh water for irrigation. You can, when you compare the sewage water and the fresh water, sewage water has little more advantages. Say for example, it forms an ideal source of water in areas where the availability of the land water is scarce. When the ground table of the water table is low, then the only opportunity, only available thing is the sewage water. You can treat the sewage water by various methods, and you can reuse the sewage water for irrigation wherever the place where you have water scarcity. And then compared to the fresh water that is taken from a well or bore, that sewage water contains more inorganic nutrients like nitrogen, phosphate, calcium, sodium, potassium, etc. that will increase the crop yield. And this is the cheapest source of water in industrial areas. So far we have been discussing this sewage water. What happened to the solid waste? The solid waste, actually when we come across the municipal waste or kitchen waste or industrial waste, it consists of both liquid waste as well as solid waste. The effluents are treated by various methods, or the sewage is treated by various methods. But what happened to the solid waste? The solid waste are also rich in nutrients. So it can be used, it can be converted into a manure, and it can be introduced into the crop land or in agricultural land or horticultural land, which will enhance the crop productivity, and also it improves the soil microflora and minerals content of the soil. And these material, these soil waste can be used as a raw material for the production of biogas, ethanol and hydrogen and so on. So let us discuss some of the common methods by which we make use of the solid waste. The very first one is compost making. So you don't need any introduction for this. So you're all familiar with the compost making. So it is the solid waste are made into a humus-like organic matter that consists rich in simple organic substances. It increases the fertility of the soil, and we have something called refuses. Refuses means which are the solid waste which comes from the urban areas. It includes paper, plastics, cloths and other solid waste material. And the agricultural waste or waste generated from the villages are referred as litter. So most of the time we may not reuse or convert the refuses, but we can very well make use of the litter. So litters are converted into compost by various methods. We can follow indoor method, Bangalore method and vermicomposting. So first let us discuss the indoor method. So indoor, which is the largest city of Madhya Pradesh. So the method was first practiced in indoor. So it's got this name indoor method. So here we we make compost pit of 3 into 6 into 6 or 3 into 8 into 8 feet big compost pit, and it will be preferable if it is near the cattle shed, and you should be free from waterlogging. And the plant residues first are spread into the cattle shed to prepare a bed for the cattle. So after the agricultural waste, plant litters or the dried leaves, coconut leaves, all these agricultural wastes are collected and it's spread evenly on the into the cattle shed, and it will be allowed to wet by the cow dung as well as by the cow urine. So after some time what happens is you have to collect back all the agricultural waste and spread it into the compost pit, and then put all the waste materials up to 3 feet from the bottom of the pit, and over this again a layer of sufficient quantity of cattle dung is spread and water is sprinkled over the layer. So this setup is turned up at regular intervals of 15 days. After some 6 weeks of time, you will get a good quality of manure. This is indoor method. So very simply we can say that first we have to collect the agricultural waste. Agricultural waste are spread into the cattle shed. After it gets wetted by the cow dung and cow urine, it has to be spread onto the compost pit, over which you can put all the solid waste, and above that again you can have a thick layer of cow dung and sprinkle waste water onto it and leave it for some time, and at every 15 days these residues are mixed up or aerated or shuffled, so that it allows the growth of aerobic microorganisms and which will degrade the solid waste agricultural particles that will be degraded. So after 6 weeks of time you will get a very good quality manure from this. And there is another method called Bangalore method. So here instead of pit we prepare something called trenches. So trenches which is not having much deep one, it is a very shallow one, but it is a longer one. So trenches are made with 4 to 4.5 to 10 meter long and 1.5 to 2.5 meter width and 1 meter depth. So here the area should be selected. It would be better if it is slightly away from the city, but within the radius of 2 miles from the city. The trenches are filled with alternate layer of solid waste and block soil. So you can have a refuse layer of around 250 millimeter thickness, and over which you can put a layer of black soil which would be around 50 millimeter thickness. So what will happen when you dump lot of solid waste, particularly refuses, into the trenches? So when the refuses that develop increases the temperature up to 70 degrees Celsius within 7 days, and heat persists for 2 to 3 weeks. That heat helps for anaerobic digestion of waste and kill pathogenic microbes, and the group of filamentous fungi that will degrade cellulose into simple sugar. Some of the examples of fungi: Chaetomium, Trichoderma, Streptomyces, Cellulomonas, Clostridium, and there are several species. They are specifically degrade lignin. They are Humicola, Clavaria, Cephalosporia. And the last method is the vermicomposting. So I don't think you need any introduction for vermicomposting. Already you have all completed one paper on vermitechnology. So here we can also form either compost pit method or by trench method in the vermicomposting. But the thing is, instead of just adding cow dung and water, we are going to introduce earthworm here. You can use different species of earthworm, Yersinia foetida, Eutylis eugeniae, and so on. And you have to introduce the earthworm in large numbers, and you have to be careful about the predators. You have to safeguard the pit from the predators. So again you can keep it for 21 days. After 21 days you will get the good quality manure.